You ever notice how no one just waits anymore? Like if you're standing in line for coffee, you're not standing in line. You're checking messages, scrolling, or pretending to. It's as if we collectively decided that the worst thing that could happen is being alone with our own thoughts for 12 seconds. But it wasn't always like this. There was a time, not that long ago, when waiting didn't feel like torture. You could stare out a window, doodle on a napkin, hum a song you didn't know the lyrics to, and somehow your brain entertained itself. That ability to do nothing and feel fine was a skill, and we lost it without even noticing. The extinct emotion. Here's the thing. Boredom used to exist for a reason. It was a mental idle mode, your brain's way of saving energy and connecting ideas in the background. When you got bored, your mind would start drifting, pulling random memories and thoughts together until, suddenly, something clicked. That's how daydreaming used to work. It was creative compost. All the scraps of experience slowly breaking down into insight. Now, instead of letting that process happen, we fill every microgap with stimulation. Standing in line? Phone. Waiting for the elevator? Phone. Even brushing our teeth isn't safe. Some people can't get through 2 minutes without checking notifications like they're mission control. We didn't kill boredom. We outsourced it, the biology of stillness. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network, the part of your brain that activates when you're not focused on anything specific. It's basically your brain's maintenance mode. It organizes memories, reinforces learning, and even helps you understand yourself. But it only turns on when you're not being bombarded by input. When you're scrolling, multitasking, listening, or refreshing, it stays off. Which means we've accidentally created a generation of people whose self-awareness system barely boots up anymore. The irony, the default mode network is where creativity happens. Your best ideas don't come while you're focused. They come when you're relaxed enough for your mind to wander. That's why ideas pop up in the shower or on long walks. Your brain finally has room to connect dots instead of chasing them. Boredom isn't the absence of activity. It's the invitation for thought. The dopamine drain. Of course, there's another reason we can't sit still. It's called dopamine tolerance. See, every notification, every scroll, every new post gives you a micro hit of dopamine. It's harmless at first, tiny bursts of novelty and reward. But the more you flood your brain with it, the less sensitive your reward system becomes. Now, real life, slow, quiet, and unpredictable, feels dull. You're not lazy, you're overstimulated. You didn't lose focus, you just trained your brain to expect fireworks every 5 seconds. That's why a 5-minute task feels impossible. Why movies feel too long. Why silence feels uncomfortable. You've built a tolerance to calm, and the cruel part? The only cure for overstimulation is boredom. You have to detox from constant input long enough for your baseline to reset. But in the process, you'll experience the exact thing you've been avoiding. Silence, stillness, and the awkward awareness that your thoughts have been waiting behind all that noise. The creative blackout. Boredom isn't just about peace. It's about progress. Some of history's greatest thinkers swore by it. Einstein had his thought experiments while floating in daydreams. Da Vinci would stare at cracked walls, imagining landscapes hidden in the lines. Steve Jobs took long walks with nothing but his thoughts, because he knew ideas need space to form. You can't connect dots when you never stop drawing new ones. Constant consumption kills creativity because your brain never gets to digest. You feed it all day and wonder why it feels bloated. When every moment is filled, no moment stands out. That's why your life feels like a blur. Not because you're not doing enough, but because you never pause long enough for meaning to form. The skill to relearn. The good news is, boredom's a muscle. You can train it again. Start small. Leave your phone in another room when you eat. Stand in line without looking at a screen. Walk without music for 5 minutes. It'll feel unbearable at first, like withdrawal, because that's exactly what it is. You're weaning your brain off constant stimulation. But after a while, something weird happens. Your thoughts start connecting again. You start noticing tiny details. The sound of leaves, the shape of shadows, the rhythm of your own breathing. It's like your brain finally comes back online. And that boredom you hated, it starts feeling peaceful, like rest. not punishment. The quiet payoff. Boredom was never the enemy. It was the space your mind used to think, to feel, to create, to reset. You didn't lose focus. You lost the stillness that focus comes from. You lost the ability to do nothing and call it something. And that's the real skill, being okay with the in-between, letting your mind wander without needing to grab it by the leash. So next time you reach for your phone at a red light or fill a pause in conversation with noise, try not doing anything. Let the silence stretch. You might feel restless for a bit, but eventually you'll remember what boredom used to give you: clarity, imagination, presence. And when that happens, when your thoughts start moving freely again, you'll realize boredom wasn't a problem to solve. It was a sense you forgot how to feel.